So welcome back to episode 2 of the road to May the 5th. So for those who don't know, on May the 5th I'm going to be running 7 marathons in 7 days across 7 counties in the UK. There's going to be an episode dropping on this YouTube channel every single Sunday between 6 and 7 PM. Last week's episode was on the training that I'm going to be doing leading up to this event, and this week's video is going to be about the mentality and how I'm preparing mentally to take on 7 marathons in 7 days. So I'm just out here this morning. I've come for a zone 2 run. I'm just having a quick breather before I get back into running again, filming for this video. I'm not feeling the best, if I'm being completely honest. I felt quite under the weather the last couple of days, but I just keep telling myself that on the day I'm going to have to get up and run no matter what. So if I can develop that mindset now, it's going to make those marathons so much easier. And I think this is something that a lot of people need to start learning when it comes towards running and when it comes towards training, training towards events. It's not always about the data metrics, and it's not about every single training session optimizing for a certain split or optimizing for certain things. Sometimes it's just literally about turning up when you don't want to, on the days where you don't feel like it, and trying to put the miles in when you literally just don't want to do it and you want to do something else. So the way that I word this is controlled discomfort. I've done a video about this on my YouTube channel in the past, and controlled discomfort is the ability to force yourself to do things that you know you don't want to do, so you come out of it on the other side better, both physically and mentally. So for example, some of my runs throughout the week at the minute, I'm running long distance runs on a Sunday morning and a Wednesday morning. And usually I don't do that because I've got to get to work at a certain time on a Wednesday morning. So I'm having to put myself in that uncomfortable situation where my alarm goes off on a Wednesday morning to get out of bed, get the shoes on and get after it on the canal, or get after it when I go for my running session. When you start a run, I don't care if you're doing a long distance run, a short distance run, that first 1 to 2 kilometers is always so uncomfortable unless you wake up and you feel absolutely amazing. And running is something that I've always struggled with. Like I've mentioned on this YouTube channel in the past, I suffered massively with a bone condition when I was younger that I wasn't aware of. The doctors told me that I have a tumour in my right leg that goes all the way up into my pelvis, and I'm always going to be handicapped when it comes towards being strong in that area and when it comes to running. I'm more prone to stress fractures, and it's a lot difficult for me to run these longer distances without feeling pain in that area and starting to run in a way that isn't comfortable for me to deal with. So I've always found that running is something that I've never enjoyed, but the more that I do it, the more I can see that I'm developing discipline and mental toughness off the back of doing the runs that I don't want to do. So discipline is going to be the key fundamental for achieving these 7 marathons in 7 days. I don't even want to think about what it's going to be like waking up on that 7th morning knowing that there's another 42.2 kilometers to run after doing 6 of them already that week. So discipline is something that we're definitely going to have to take into this event, and it's something that I'm trying to base my training around when it comes to waking up early when I don't want to, getting the runs in on tired legs, making sure that I'm absolutely on point with my nutrition, getting all of my work done before I do certain training sessions, and it's actually putting me into a better routine with every other aspect in my life. So I do think that if you're somebody right now who's watching this video and trying to take some inspiration for yourself, start to plan different things into your diary, different things into your week that's going to make you become more disciplined, both physically and mentally, because it'll carry over into other areas of your life. So I know that on this video I'm vlogging about my road to May the 5th of running 7 marathons in 7 days, but even to just plan to lose a certain amount of weight if you want to get leaner, even just to plan to run your first 5k, by setting that goal and setting that North Star to work towards, you're then having to commit to the process of being organised and getting your training sessions in towards that date that where you reach that finish line. And in the process of reaching that finish line, everything else in your life has to fall into place. You've got to be more organised with your food shop. You've got to be more organised with the times that you wake up, the times that you go to bed. You've got to be more organised with the times that you finish your work. Everything else will start to fall into place as soon as you set that first goal. So I think discipline is the foundation for success. And especially if you're somebody who's watching it doesn't feel like they've got a sense of direction, discipline will give you that sense of direction. So if you're watching this video and you're looking for inspiration, set that goal and start working towards it. Resilience is the capacity to come back from a difficulty. And I think what a better way to talk about resilience than this morning. I'm on my way to the surgery now to see if I'm going to need antibiotics, and it's just put a massive spanner in the works when it comes to my prep for running 7 marathons in 7 days. And I wanted to talk about resilience, and resilience is literally the ability to bounce back from difficult things. Obviously the plan was to talk about bouncing back from each individual marathon, but I'll get back to you once we've been into the clinic and see what's going on with this tonsillitis, but hopefully it won't be nothing too bad. We've still got enough time to recover before the event, and yeah, let's see how we get on. So, just straight out of the surgery there after checking the tonsils, and I've got tonsillitis, but the lady said 95% of bacterial tonsillitis, when it's not severe, which this case it isn't, it doesn't look that bad, can resolve itself, but it just means that I need to rest, I need to recover. So this weekend and this week is going to be a bit different. We're going to have to bring down the miles, we're going to have to bring down the training, we're just going to have to take it on the chin. And sometimes being resilient is doing the right thing by not overtraining and being disciplined, which I spoke about a couple of minutes ago, is doing the thing that you don't want to do. And right now I want to train, I want to be prepared. And the last thing we want to do is take 10 steps back, when what I could do instead is take 2 steps back by resting and recovering to then take 10 steps forward. So resilience, recovering from a thing that is difficult quickly, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So rest and recover, making sure that we're staying resilient, making sure that we're staying disciplined. Now let's get into consistency. And last but by no means least, the last thing that I wanted to go through in this video is consistency. So 7 marathons in 7 days, we have to consistently run. That's the main thing that we're going to have to be taking on in this challenge. But not only that, we're going to have to consistently put ourselves in that mental battle where we want to give up, but we've got to carry on going. So I think consistency is one of the biggest things that we have to take into this, along with discipline and along with resilience. As much as you don't want to turn up and do the things that you don't want to, you've got to consistently do it. So without consistency, the other two don't matter. So it's important to make sure that you consistently turn up no matter what. And the ways that I've found that consistency can be a massive benefit, or the way that I've managed to get consistently better at being consistent, should I say, without that sounding like a tongue twister, is by making things non-negotiables. So if I say I'm going to get up and run at a certain time, I get up and I run at that time. I'm holding myself more accountable. And it's having that self-responsibility to tell yourself that you're going to do something and then do it. And I've spoken about this on a previous video on my YouTube channel about being able to hold yourself to doing things that you said you was going to do. For example, if you work a 9-to-5 job and your boss tells you there to get 5 minutes early, you're going to get there 5 minutes early. But if you tell yourself to get to the gym at 6:15 in the morning, you probably don't have as much motivation to get there, because you know that there's not that much of a reward on the other side. Whereas if you start to think that every single time that you tell yourself that you're going to do something and you do it, you start to develop this new level of self-accountability where you don't actually enjoy not doing what you say you're going to do. So being consistent is probably the main thing that I need to focus on going into these 7 marathons in 7 days. It's making sure that I'm consistently disciplined. So making sure that I turn up every day no matter what. Making sure that I'm consistently resilient. I can't just turn up for one marathon and then not the next. I need to make sure that I'm constantly on it with every single run. And that's the same for training, just as much as it is going to be on the week where we do 7 marathons across the UK. So it's important to make sure that we stay disciplined, we stay consistent, and we stay resilient. Now, there are 3 main things that I'm going to be taking going into this event. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's just been a bit of a debrief on the way that I'm thinking and my mindset towards training and taking on this amazing challenge. If you've not already, make sure you're subscribed, put the notification bells on, because there's going to be a video dropping every single Sunday going through my prep for May the 5th, when we take on 7 marathons in 7 days across 7 counties in the UK. And if you've got any questions or you've got any tips or any advice that you can give me, please drop them in the comments below, because I'm all here for anybody's advice or any information that I can take to help me level up myself both physically and mentally for these events. And remember, always want more.